So today I'm going to be talking all about your ideal customer and why it is so important that you know them on a really deep level. I'm also going to be talking through reasons why it's so important and also busting some myths around the whole ideal customer target audience kind of thing as well. If you enjoy seeing content like this, please do remember to click the subscribe button and like this video so that I know you like it and I can make more around this kind of topic. So I know a lot of people talk about knowing your ideal customer, knowing your target audience, and it seems a lot like a bit of a buzzword, but I honestly believe that it is one of the most important exercises you can do for a successful business. Before I start any design projects with clients, I always ask them who their target audience is. At the beginning of all of my courses and masterclasses, I'm always starting with who is your ideal customer and do you know them well enough? I talk about it all the time on social media and I'm talking about it again today. Over the past few years, I've gone from quite a rough idea of who my target market is. Originally, I think I was targeting just female small business owners or something really broad like that. And then I kind of went down the route of saying, okay, no, I'm only targeting creative female freelancers. But that even then still wasn't specific enough. I wasn't totally clear on my actual ideal customer. And now, over the last 12 months, I've been doing lots of different exercises and I now have an ideal customer and she's called Hannah. So I've gone all the way from a really broad target market all the way down to an actual specific individual who I can picture in my head and think of whenever I'm doing anything to do with my business, whether that's marketing, branding, creating new products, it all starts with her. So why is it so important to get that kind of level of understanding about this? First of all, your ideal customer should be the start of everything you do. If you don't know who you're targeting, how can you know where to go and do your marketing? How can you know how to reach people? You need to be clear on who they are first and what their personality traits are and where they like to shop and what websites they browse on, because that is going to help you with basically everything in your business. When you're creating new products and services in your business and you start by thinking about your ideal customer, you can be sure that what you're doing is going to solve real problems and that people will actually want to buy it. Creating a product or service and then going out and looking for a target audience to sell it to is the wrong way around and it's going to be way harder. Knowing exactly who your ideal customer is can also help you come up with endless ideas for products, services, and also content for your marketing as well, because you know what their problems are, you know what their interests are, so it just makes it easier to think of things to write and put out there on social media and products to create and things like that. It also makes your marketing in general so much more effective. If you know very specifically who you're targeting, you don't have to go and waste loads of time and resources building up a presence on a social media platform, only to find out that your target audience doesn't actually hang out there and you've wasted all that time. Similarly, you don't need to waste money on adverts that don't work and doing content on websites that your audience aren't even going on. That can be a real waste of time, a waste of resources, and if you know specifically who your audience is and where they are, then you're not going to make those mistakes. Another thing I always say is that if you try too hard to appeal to everyone, you're going to end up appealing to no one in a particularly strong way. You're going to end up vanilla or average, and that is no way to grow a business. If you create for specific people, sure, you might put off some people who aren't your ideal customer, but you're going to really strengthen the relationships with the people who you are actually trying to target. They're going to love you even more and they're going to want to spend even more money with you. So building relationships strongly with a smaller amount of people can be much more valuable than trying to appeal to everyone and than everyone just being like meh about your brand. It also means you can stop working with clients and customers who aren't a good fit for you. There is nothing worse than working on a project with someone who you just don't gel with and things aren't going wrong and resentment builds up and stuff like that, But if you know exactly who you're targeting, you won't get into those situations in the first place because you will have got so clear on that you're not going to end up appealing to the wrong people anymore. So the last point is, as well as stopping working with people who aren't the right fit, you can stop wasting time on conversations with the wrong people altogether as well. Again, there's nothing worse than getting 30 minutes into a sales call before realizing that actually it's been a waste of time because you're really not a good fit for each other, or suddenly after 10 email back and forths, you realize that the person can't afford you or has something totally different in mind. Those are time-wasting conversations, unfortunately. We all go through them, but this is going to really, really help you stop getting into those situations, because all your marketing, all your branding is going to be reflective of the person who you do want to be working with and talking with. So you're going to be appealing to them and not the wrong people. So I know you might have heard conflicting things about doing exercises around creating an ideal customer avatar or a muse and getting really specific about your target audience. Some people don't like it as a practice, as an exercise, but some people love it. I'm on the side of, obviously, there's a limit. Like, I have had clients come to me with like 3-page essays all about their target customer, their kind of client avatar. But I don't think that's necessary. I think it's really important to hit on the key points and work through an exercise in depth, but without wasting too much time writing a whole novel, basically. So I wanted to kind of bust some myths and common objections that come up when people are talking about doing these exercises. And the first one is, if I go too specific, won't I lose out on customers? And I would say that this couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, the opposite usually happens. As I said, if you're too general, you'll end up appealing to no one very strongly. As soon as you actually stand for something and get really specific, you end up building stronger communities. There's more room to create raving superfans. If you've read the book Superfans, I think it's by Pat Flynn. I'll leave a link below. It's a really good book. You should always be aiming to create a community of superfans around your brand. But also it means there's less competition because you're in a smaller niche. There's less people trying to do what you do. So you can end up growing a lot more. I know that that has happened to me and a lot of other people that I know who have really niched down and got really specific about who they're targeting. It has only grown their business, not the other way around, as some people might suspect. I get a lot of people saying going into all this detail is pointless and a bit of a waste of time. Obviously, I know as freelancers, we're all really busy, but I do think the key is in the finer details of working through an ideal customer avatar or muse or whatever you want to call it. Being able to create a whole persona helps make it more memorable for you to keep it in your mind. If you've got an actual individual in your head who you know the personality of, you know them basically as well as you might know a best friend. This is going to help you do everything so much easier and have ideas all the time. I think, yes, a 3 or 4 page essay or novel about a person isn't necessary, but getting granular on a lot of the finer details is really important, especially for marketing. Obviously, I know a lot of people sell business to business, so they might think that these types of exercises aren't relevant. But remember that even if you are targeting a really big corporate company with your business and trying to sell services or products to them, there's always going to be a human making the actual purchasing decision at the end of the day. Whether it's the person who finds out about you and promotes you to everyone else in the workforce, or whether it's the person who actually has the authority to sign off and purchase your service or product. That is an actual individual, so it's them that you want to keep in mind for these exercises, and it is totally just as relevant because you need to know these things, again, for branding, marketing, copywriting, basically everything in your business. And the last myth that a lot of people will come to me with is you can't have more than one ideal customer, or they get stuck because they're like, oh, I can't fit this all into one person. And you don't have to. It's actually completely normal for most of us to have 2 very different ideal customers. Our businesses are layered and complex, and to be honest, most people have got more than one. I'd usually recommend sticking to 2 to 3 just for ease, but all it means is that you have to do this exercise over a couple of times, but it is nice to get creative sometimes. Most people enjoy the exercises when they do them. There are a few reasons why you might have more than one ideal customer, one being that you've got a business-to-business strand and a business-to-consumer strand in your business, or different locations, lots of things like that. So it does happen, and that's absolutely fine. You just need to keep in mind two different individuals in your head when you're doing things, and maybe just change hats when you're doing different activities in your business and targeting different areas. So one of the exercises that I would recommend is creating a CV, or kind of one-page summary about the individual that you are targeting, so your ideal customer. And I do actually have a template for this. You can download it using the link in the description. And basically there is a Photoshop file version of it with an instructional video on how to use that if you've got Photoshop. And if not, there is a Canva template as well. So if you've got a free Canva account, you can use that in there as well. It's just a really helpful kind of one-page thing that you can set up and then pin on your desk to always have that person in mind. Or if you would like to go a lot deeper, I actually have a masterclass that I sell. It's like a virtual training. It includes a 60-minute video. It includes a 15-page workbook, getting you really deep and talking through all the exercises for your ideal customer. It's an instant download. You can watch it whenever you like and refer back to it whenever you need to. And this virtual training is just £20 plus VAT if you're in the UK or the EU. But yeah, I would recommend that if you want to do some really in-depth exercises to get super clear on your ideal customer. That's it from me. Thanks so much for watching this video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to hear more on topics just like this.